Today we're going to be going over 5 different stocks that are dividend stocks, dividend paying stocks that have overall good performance. We're going to go through each of these stocks. We're going to talk about them. We're going to explain them. We're going to look at some of the history behind them, and let's get right into the video. So the first one we're going to be talking about is ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil has been performing somewhat decently. Obviously, if you look at the chart, it still has kind of a trajectory downward and upward over the last year. With ExxonMobil, it's got kind of these dips, right? These really heavy dips over time. But if you're looking to just add it to your portfolio and kind of generate some profit for you over time, you can't really go wrong with Exxon. It's actually in a downward period right now, and I could predict in the future that it's going to rise. If you actually look at some of these past downward periods, they go straight kind of down, like in a diagonal kind of force, and then over time they kind of shoot up relatively quickly. So if you look here, this is a downward angle. It's kind of a great time to invest in it. Over time, it will start to go upwards, right? If we look at this is year to date, so since January, this is the chart, right? So it's got these ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. And like I said, it's in a downward position right now, but it seems like it's going to have some upward motion. In the last year, this is the chart, right? So if you look once again, right, this upward period, upward, downward, and then it has these ups and downs, these jolts every day, right? But then it has this soar up from September 10th all the way to October 7th. Then you have a period of this shot downward, right? And then from December 20th, it's kind of been going up since. So you get a little bit of a discount if you do invest in it. I think I might invest in it. We'll see. But ExxonMobil, $110.25 currently is the current share price with a dividend yield of 3.5%. That's not a bad dividend yield. 3.5% is really not that bad. So something that sometimes I like to do is kind of look into the dates at which the dividend yield actually appears, and see how often kind of this dividend is given out and when it's given out. And does it have any correlation to the stock price? Because if you do notice, the stock price is going to start going upward. So that might be an indication that the dividend is coming soon. Might have something to do with that, because there are stocks that do that and move them that kind of way. So ExxonMobil has been the very first one. Of course, it's in the gasoline energy sector. All right, so let's go to the next one. Chevron. So Chevron is $156 a share. And you can see here the dividend price is 4.17, so a little bit higher than that of ExxonMobil. And if we look here in the year-to-date chart, once again, it has this kind of upward period, right? A little bit more safe than Exxon, to be honest with you, in the upward period, but it also has been going through a downward period, a slight downward period. Now, if we look at the year chart, right, it doesn't seem like the downward period is going to come to an end. It seems to me like there is going to be a down, like it's going to move down a little bit more. So Chevron is kind of good for, I would say, overall, a good purchase. Once it kind of reaches that low point, really best point was to buy somewhere in December, right? Like somewhere down here. And kind of take advantage of that, because I do like to do some trading. I don't like to hold on for too long. And personally, I'm more of a big trader than a dividend yield kind of guy. But overall, if you are trying to go for dividends, it's not a bad dividend price to kind of pay. 4.17%, not too bad. And if you look here at the data, we have a 52-week low of 135, 52-week high of 167. Today, the price is 150. The high price today was 157.94, and of course the current price is 156. So really not much far off, not too far from the high. I mean, we're talking about less than $11 from the current high price. So once again, Chevron is something that you should wait for, I would say, until the price goes down a little bit more. And remember that 52-week low is in 135. So when it hits somewhere around, I would say around here, like in the high 140s, mid 140s, would be a great time to invest and kind of hold from there. The next one is Merck. So Merck is a healthcare company that engages in provision of healthcare solutions with prescriptions, medications, vaccines, all that kind of stuff. So its dividend yield is sitting at 3.26. Now, overall, it's actually been a really good company to invest in. And you can see it actually had a nice little jolt here from $96.63 today to $97.14. But if we look here, year to date, it's on a low end here. So, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea to invest. You can get a little bit bonus from those past months. If you look here over the last year, it kind of had this peak somewhat and then decreased. And then over the last 5 years, we can kind of see the chart. It's a downward period, but it wasn't really moving downward, but it was sitting around here, kind of like a belly kind of angle, right? And then it's curved upward, downward, of course, upward, and then might go through that same kind of phase. So sitting at a yield of 3.26, it fits in with, kind of the other numbers. Price to earnings is 20 to 0.04. Wish it was a little bit higher, but not too bad. And of course, the 52-week high is $134. The 52-week low is $94. If you invest sometime around now, you're investing at a relatively good price. I mean, because $97, you're only talking about $3-4 away from the 52-week low. So, I always like to invest as a stock is moving upward. So somewhere around that low point is a great place to invest. All right. So overall, if you wait a long period of time, you have some invested, you're collecting some dividends, let's say 4 or 5 months in, you could sell, maybe even a month in, depending on how long you want to wait. But you can make dividend income and you can also sell based on that value rising of the actual stock. Because like I said, it's very close to that 52-week low point right now. The next one is a company called Johnson & Johnson. Very famous, very well known. All kinds of products it manufactures, from lotions to baby powders to all kinds of cosmetic products as well. It's got some research in the healthcare field. They really have their wingspan pretty far out there. Okay, so the stock price is currently sitting at $146.50. You can see that, kind of rose today, the value. And if we look at the year-to-date chart, I mean, this stock price has been all over the place, right? It's got its ups, it's got its downs. I would say it's relatively volatile. If you look at the 1-year chart, so this is literally in the past year, it's had a high of 167, at least from what we can see, and it's relatively in a low period. The good news about this is, once again, this is another stock that you could buy at the low point. Whether you're doing your options trading or you're just buying stocks in general, you're investing in these stocks, it's still a relatively good choice to make because it has a lot of potential for growth here. So if you look here, the 52-week low was $140, okay? Right now we're sitting at $146.50. The 52-week high was $168.85. So from 140 to 168, this has been relatively volatile. It has touched those bounds pretty deep, okay? And the dividend yield is 3.38. We're closer to the low than we are to the high. The dividend yield exists, and there's money to be made here. This is another stock that overall can provide really good dividends, and I don't think it has missed a dividend payment in the last something like 27 years or something like that. So overall, this is one of those stocks that, you can kind of trust to collect those dividends from. And it's a pretty big company out there. So this is not one of those kind of companies that you have to worry about from a dividend yield perspective. And like I said, it seems like it's got low enough and it's close to starting an upward trajectory. I think for a long-term investment, this is, long-term in my perspective, because once again, I am a day trader. From a long-term perspective, a stock like this would be a good price or would be a good investment for a investor who's looking to hold from anywhere from 1 to 3 months. And I think it's very possible to achieve some success with it. All right. So next company is Pepsi Cola. So Pepsi Cola is one of these, or PepsiCo, sorry, not Pepsi Cola, but PepsiCo is one of these kind of companies that has been around pretty much forever. I mean, when you're talking about dividend investing, this is one of those stocks that is like a cornerstone type stock. And the price is currently sitting at 148.73. If we look here at the last 3 months, it seems like it's going down. We look at the year to date, it has this kind of down period, and now it's kind of has an up period. So you just got to sometimes look at the chart in different ways. But this is how the stocks looks in the past year. Once again, this is another one of those stocks where it could have a rise here, especially because the presidency and everything that's going on. It's very practical to see this stock hit, somewhere in the 170s within the next 8 weeks. And obviously, I'm not a financial advisor, so make your own decisions and study your own decisions. But you kind of see the patterns growing here. And once again, this is in the past year. So the current price is at 148. The dividend yield is sitting at 3.60, which is pretty nice of a dividend yield overall. And low 146. Okay, has been today the low. The high is at 148. So in terms of volatility, it's not crazy volatile over a daily period. Okay, but it does have a chance of good growth over time. The 52-week low has been 141. We're at 148, okay? And the 52-week high has been 183. So once again, another one of these stocks that you could hold for 1 to 3 months, have a tremendous rise in the value of the stock, but also collect some dividend yield in the meantime. So if that's something you're looking to do, a great stock to buy. And also if you're looking to hold even longer for a few years, maybe just never even sell and just hold forever, I mean, technically, you would save a lot of time, because when was the last time the stock hit 148? I mean, we can go back here to, let's see here, when, 2021? I mean, you're essentially buying 3 to 4 years worth of time in your pocket. So, overall, you look at the overall length of this stock, right? It's been pretty safe. Of course, there are dips. But overall, you look at, since 2001, the stock price has been pretty much going up. Like I said, there are periods where it will go down, periods where it will go up. But we've had a huge down recently. And we can predict that it will go up over time. So, not a bad stock to be invested in, specifically for dividends. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. 5 different dividend stocks that could potentially replace your job. Hopefully this helps out. I think this will be very effective. Let me know what you're going to be investing in, and I'll talk to you soon. All right? Peace out. Bye.